Many of the people Trump has surrounded himself with seem to actively enjoy lying to the public, but for some, the cracks are starting to show.
I'm really just a little bit overwhelmed. Because, with the show and all the clips and having everybody here, it's the energy kind of just distracts you from the reality of, what's about to happen. And it really hit me this morning. I want you to know how much I love you guys. I mean that. People throw that term around, but I really love you guys. I feel like I've met so many of you. Some of you I've never even seen, whether it was Eric or Jeremy on the radio show. I chose early on to interact with my audience in kind of a different way, and it's paid me back so many dividends. And there's nothing more incredible than going out at a book signing and someone goes, hey, how'd that treat you gave Lucy the other day work out? And you're like, how'd you know that? Like, you said it on the radio. I'm like, I did? Like, that people, the relationship seems so asymmetric at times. Like, you know about me, but I don't know about you. But I know all I need to know about you, which is you've been there for me when I needed you. If you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that for sure. No, I didn't come here to make friends. I don't give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends. But if you're want a friend in D.C., get a dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. You want a friend in D.C., right? Go get a Labradoodle like I have, because there are no friends in D.C. You've been doing this, 30 years? There are no friends here. I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I'm not sure if anybody in this room has listened to Mr. Bongino when he talks about the past corruption at the FBI, when he talks about his experience serving for the United States Secret Service. This is a man who loves his country and who has honorably served our country in ways that many people have not. He understands the depth of the corruption at these institutions, which the American people reelected President Trump to shake up. And I think it's quite despicable to see many networks in this room who have had chyrons on their television screens labeling Mr. Bongino as a far-right podcaster. He is not. He is a former law enforcement agent. He is a former Secret Service agent who put his life on the line to protect this country, and that is why the President of the United States has entrusted him for this important role. He's also an outsider to this Washington swamp, and we often see that when outsiders are appointed to such coveted positions, a lot of people in this city get very, very nervous, and they should be, because Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and Attorney General Bondi are focused on rooting out the corruption at these agencies and ending the weaponization of government once and for all.
Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is emerging as one of the most unpredictable characters in the Trump administration, and he seems to be causing some concern in Trump's inner circle.
A source tells Fox News tonight that the FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino has not been seen in the office since Wednesday after a heated argument with Attorney General Pam Bondi at the White House. Our correspondent David Spott has this story.
A verbal clash between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino at the White House this week over the release of DOJ's Epstein memo. The two-pager out earlier this week insists the convicted sex trafficker and offender killed himself, and a client list does not exist after all. Fox is told by 4 separate sources Bongino is so upset about the rollout of the memo, he didn't show up to work on Friday in protest. One source says he hasn't been seen in the office since the argument with the Attorney General.
David, tell us what you're learning here.
Well, Martha, this clearly has been bubbling up over the past few days, but now spilling out into the public between Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino. He took the day off today from work, we're told, because he's so upset about the rollout of the Epstein memo that DOJ released earlier this week. Two sources familiar with the meeting say both were at the White House on Wednesday to discuss a unity path forward with the Trump administration following criticism from the Trump base about a DOJ memo out earlier this week that insisted Jeffrey Epstein's client list never existed and he committed suicide. Now, this after Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Bongino for months said Epstein information would indeed be released in some form. Bongino apparently was so upset, again, he did not come to work. One source says they haven't seen him since Wednesday at work, and he may end up resigning. He was critical of the Bureau as a podcast host before being named Deputy FBI Director.
While Trump is trying to convince the press that he had no knowledge or involvement in the transfer of Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security prison, his whole administration knows that this is a terrible look. Trump seems to think that he has like the charisma to just talk his way out of anything, and maybe for some at one point he did, but he certainly doesn't now that he's having to beg people to clap at his speeches. The cult leader is getting old, the base isn't as blind as they were, and his minions are starting to think about what's next.